Okay, here we go.
Shut up!
Shut up!
I'll just interrupt
you. Motherfucker! Hello, everybody, and welcome back to your favorite movie review podcast. That's right, it's Is It Kino? The one show where we watch the new releases and let you all know if it is indeed Kino. I am your host, Mumkey Jones, joined as always by E-Rich McSoy.
Mumkey, we've been murdered in every situation that we've recorded this podcast, but let's try it again and see if we don't get murdered this time.
Let's Groundhog Day this fucking podcast. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to your favorite movie review. And, of course, Florian Himzel.
I think I'm the murderer this time.
Wow, what a fucking twist. You told us at the beginning.
Maybe I'm a red herring or a red squid.
Whoa.
And today, we are discussing the new Blumhouse Productions film, Happy Death Day to You. E-Rich, Florian, do you know the original release date of this film?
Is it April the 1st? Wait, no, that doesn't make sense.
That doesn't make any fucking sense. What are you fucking talking about? This movie
it's
was supposed
Valentine's
to
Day.
come out on Valentine's Day, February 14th, which of course was the 1-year anniversary of the Stoneman Douglas shooting. So having a movie title that says Happy Death Day to You seemed a little bit insensitive. So they changed the release date, and that was the funniest shit I've ever seen.
But they've got a school shooting every day in America. How can you even pay attention to that anymore?
This is one of the bigger ones, Florian. One of the bigger ones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we don't care about the ones where less than 5 people died. Are you kidding me?
Oh wow! I guess I gotta be more careful with these records, huh?
Yeah.
Gotta make sure to avoid.
Over in Austria, I'm sure every day's a fucking death day for you guys. How many fucking people got killed in Austria every day? You fuck! Don't give us that shit.
Barely any, man.
Barely. Okay.
Our murder rates are really low.
There were 0 concentration camps in Austria, huh? You're not getting past me today. E-Rich, what did you think of Happy Death Day to You?
So I was a big fan of the first Happy Death Day movie. I thought that was a very good slasher horror movie that played with the Groundhog Day twist concept of that movie very well. And going into this movie, I thought this movie would be basically a victory lap. They basically just do the first movie over again. And I was very pleased to see that is not the case in the movie. It is a very different movie. It kind of relies on you knowing the first movie and actually knowing the first movie pretty fucking good because this movie relies on a lot of the like emotional beats that really drove that first movie to really sustain the second one. So I'd say in all the ways that a sequel can continue the story of the original, I think this does a pretty good job of it. It actually fucking explains why the fucking time loop shit was happening in the first place. So thank fuck for that. But yeah, I think this was a very successful sequel, and I don't think it's making a lot of money at the box office, so we probably won't get a third one, which is teased at the very end of the movie.
Oh my god, well, I haven't seen the first one, so I guess I'm confused.
Luckily, they provide you with a brief recap at the beginning of this film.
You could have at least in true Is It Kino fashion say that you fell asleep watching the first movie.
Well, guess I must have fallen asleep before even watching it.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
So that's a unique perspective. We have a guy who was a big fan of the first one and was happy with the sequel. Guy who has not seen the first one. And then me. 3 unique perspectives. Boys, let me tell you, on this show Is It Kino, there's one question we always try to answer. Do you guys know what that question is?
Only one. Do you see the main character's tits?
Oh yeah.
Good guess. Not quite. Florian, what question do you think we try to answer here on this podcast?
Well, who is the killer?
No.
There's always someone who's the killer.
No. The question we always try to answer is it Kino, in fact? And let me tell you this. This movie is Back to the Future 2 reference Kino, baby!
Wow, they fucking did it.
Let me tell you, folks. Let me tell you. Back to the Future and Back to the Future Part 2, I consider them one movie, and it's the greatest movie ever made, folks. This movie feels like a spiritual successor in the sense of a Back to the Future 2. This Happy Death Day to You, it felt so much like Back to the Future 2 that I was thinking, I'm going to say that on the podcast. But then they said it in the movie. The characters in the movie said, this feels like Back to the Future 2. And I said, you're goddamn right it does. And that's why I'm loving every moment. I love Back to the Future Part 2 because it's the sequel. It's the perfect sequel in the sense that the character time travels back to the first movie. And I love that. I think that's the best way to do any sequel. Every movie sequel should be the character going back in time to relive the first movie. And
sounds like you might like Avengers Endgame then.
Oh buddy, God. I can't fucking wait. It's going to be the best movie ever made. But spoiler alert, Happy Death Day 2 is essentially that. But a whole lot more. You got Rick and Morty dimension hopping. You got time travel. All these things that I did not expect from this film at all. But it was more than pleasantly surprised.
Wow.
You guys are really eating this whole thing up, huh? Man, to me, it was just so crazy because at first it turns out that it's this guy having a death loop now, but then all of a sudden he doesn't have it anymore and it's the girl again. I was like, what the fuck? And you guys are all on board with that, huh? It just turns back into movie one, and then the Asian guy is no longer a protagonist.
It doesn't turn into movie one because she's in a completely different reality.
Yeah, big deal. Jeez, her mom's alive.
And the killer is a completely different person.
Yeah, what is with this bullshit anyways? Why is there always a killer on this day? What is it about this machine that makes it that there's always a killer?
I think
it's not that it makes it that way. It's just that there always is a killer.
It's just a happy coincidence. So
yeah, that can't be right.
Why? Why can't it be?
It's a fun movie.
It's completely stupid. This one time that they have this time loop, there's also a killer, and then the same thing in every other reality. Come on, it's gotta be based on that machine.
Yeah, it's fucking string theory, dude. There's some form of any reality out there somewhere. Are you really disputing that there wouldn't be some other killer in another reality?
Come on, Florian, you're a big fan of Rick and Morty. You know that this is how this kind of stuff would work.
Well, no, in Rick and Morty, the murder would be a giant pizza. I don't know what you're talking about.
Spoiler alert for this movie, dude. What the fuck? Don't spoil the giant pizza twist ending.
Damn it.
Yeah, he tries to murder them with a phone instead of a knife.
All right, Everett, let's dive into a little bit of your opening statement. This movie, it's revealed that the reason why the time loop in the first movie is even happening is because the Asian kid and his two Indian friends are doing a science experiment with some quantum refractor shit. It's always the same jargon in every movie, whatever, it's fine. And they're using up all the electricity at the college, which is why in the first movie the power keeps going out. I thought that was clever. If they thought way ahead on that, that's really smart. If not, that was a great way to incorporate something that was unexplained in the first movie. Really, and much like Back to the Future 1 and 2, even though we know that when they finished the first one, they did not plan to do a second one, but then they reincorporated shit so well that it feels like it was just planned from the beginning. This movie feels like, the second movie, feels like it was planned to be all one movie, the first and second one, and they just decided to cut it down the middle. But my question to you is, do you find it in any way irritating, or do you really like it that they felt the need to explain the groundhog gimmick with science and that it can't just be a naturally occurring phenomenon as the first film suggested?
I think that since this second film is playing with multiple realities and is really just digging down to this concept, it's fine for them to want to explain something about that so that you're not just, oh, I guess this time they're jumping into different eventualities and realities and multiple dimensions. As soon as you get into that, I think it raises a bunch of questions that a time loop movie doesn't necessarily have to bring up. I think Groundhog Day is kind of perfect in that way that it doesn't actually tell you why it's happening.
Yeah,
it's just happening.
I really like that about Groundhog Day, is that if they made a Groundhog Day 2 and the plot was there was a science experiment that went wrong and that's why he went back in time, I feel like it would lessen the first movie for me, because it was as if all of reality was changing its own laws to make Bill Murray be a good man.
Right. Well, good luck for you, Monkey. This year, a VR Groundhog Day 2 is coming out where you play
What?
Bill Murray's son who's stuck
What?
in that town going through everything just like his dad.
Is it a movie or a game?
I said it's a VR game.
What the fuck?
What?
Yes.
Wow. I wonder what arc he has. I wonder if he's gonna become a good person too.
Fuck off.
Well, I don't know, man. It seems pretty weird that they would just explain this whole thing. I think that would take away from the first movie, but I guess I haven't seen it, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah. It's interesting that the two guys who saw the first movie and know all the characters really enjoyed the sequel, and the guy who is lost was confused the whole time.
Oh, I don't know. It must have been that good, huh? But I don't know. It still seems like he would undermine that.
So I think what this movie does really well is that you take a bunch of characters who were ultimately, you don't get a whole lot of them in the first movie, especially like the side Asian roommate character. You don't really, he's kind of a one-note character. But in this one, and I assume this is written by the same people, but they really want to take the time to flesh out these characters and hit us with some emotional shit that was set up in the first movie. So brilliantly done. We know that the main character, Tree, her mother died when they were young, when she was a kid. And when she gets thrust into this alternate dimension after the science thing go crazy, Morty, we're going to a different dimension. Morty. Now, in this new dimension, her mom is alive. And I'm not the type of guy to just cry at any movie, Florian and Erich. I know you guys think I'm a bit of a soy boy, but the reveal when she finds out that her mother is actually alive and just there for a lunch, I thought it was so well done that I almost had an emotional moment, folks. It was.
I thought you were saying you did.
It was very touching and sad. And even though I've never lost anybody in that way, it still struck a chord with me. But Florian, you probably thought it was dumb.
Did you cry big tears of soy? Yeah, I guess that seems pretty dumb.
You thought it was dumb?
I mean, at that point, you're just gonna have to start grieving all over again when she dies when she's old, but okay.
Oof.
Gonna rip off that Band-Aid right away, in my opinion.
What the fuck?
That's a crazy take.
Holy shit. That's a fucking galaxy brain take. Shouldn't be sad that your dead mom came back to life because you're going to lose her eventually anyway.
Well, it could be at any moment. You never know.
God damn. Erich, what did you think?
As someone on this podcast who has lost a parent, yeah, it was pretty emotional. I did not like cry or anything, but I was kind of choked up, and like it's definitely like I think it's a legit moment in this movie when she's reacting to seeing her mom again. Like I do love that the first movie actually set that out, and this movie actually pays that off.
Yeah, it's always interesting when you see a movie that's kind of just a fun gimmick, like Happy Death Day, and you wouldn't. It's kind of like the Click effect, where I'm not expecting any heavy, emotional, genuinely good film moments in the movie Click, but then everybody says, "Oh yeah," when he's lying in the rain, all fat and shit. Yeah, I fucking cried. Of course I did. And this Happy Death Day to You, I think, did the same thing to me.
You cried in Click? Oh my god.
Yeah, I fucking cried at Click. I think I was 13 when it came out.
I fucking dare you not to cry at Click, Florian.
I cried the entire time in Click because of how bad it was.
Wow, have we swapped bodies? What's going on here?
I never liked Click. Oh well.
All right. So, like, what I want to say about this movie is it's a kind of amazing how it completely switches genres. Because the first movie is pretty much a slasher movie. They definitely play with that Groundhog Day type idea. But this movie almost completely ditches the slasher movie premise, and it's just a crazy fucking madcap comedy.
And a sci-fi movie, and at one point a heist movie. And, and it's so obvious that whoever's directing and writing this is just a huge fan of all the movies that I'm a fan of. And you can even see all these movie posters up in the room of the main hero. All the movies that they're ripping off are posters on his wall. He has a Back to the Future poster right above his bed, and it's almost, I'm not going to say it's a Quentin Tarantino kind of movie. But I will say, I appreciate that idea of the filmmaker likes these things, and he's just going to obviously steal from them, even to the point where the characters point out, yeah, this is Back to the Future Part 2. I'm okay with that when they're ripping off things that I already like to begin with.
I don't know. Is there a pleasant surprise effect with these movies that you kind of don't expect them to go where they go? So the fact that they do, or the fact that they try, gives you that extra kind of love for it that you wouldn't have otherwise?
Yeah, that's I call that one the Lego Movie 1 effect.
Right. Yeah,
So-
I just feel like it's not super well made, but it's well made enough. It's not what you.
It's earnest, E-Rich. It's earnest.
You're right. It is earnest.
Yeah, E-Rich.
Shut the fuck up.
I don't know. It seems pretty lame to me that they just put in all the movies they ripped off.
Yeah, well.
Well, okay, I guess. So tell me, in the first movie, you say it's a slasher movie, but she dies over and over again. How can it be still scary at that point? I don't even
Because
get
you don't
that
know how
part.
she's gonna die next.
Well, that's the scary part.
Well, I wouldn't really say the first one is scary. I mean, a slasher movie to me is more fun. Watching a crazy person with a knife killing people, I think it's more fun than scary. I don't think either of these movies were meant to be scary. It's just sort of a fun premise for a slasher movie. So if you're going into it trying to get the thrills and chills, maybe just hope for the thrills.
Well, what I really liked about that first movie was that it turned the main character who kept dying again and again from like a victim into like somebody who has some ability to take out vengeance on their killer and actually like hunt down the killer and find the killer. And what is awesome about the sequel is that's where it starts from. Like, I know we have this kind of thing with the Asian kid and his machine, but we eventually get back to her who is reliving this day, but she's done all of that already. So she's completely competent in like grabbing a baseball bat and being like, well, I'm going to beat the shit out of this guy because I know exactly what's going to happen.
Wait, so how exactly does that happen? So when did she go into her time loop? Was that a year ago or something?
No, it was the next day.
the day before.
Right, so she maintained all of her memories, but then I guess the Asian guy, no, I guess he maintains his memories too.
No, only
maintains memories.
Yeah, only the person in the time loop remembers all the other days.
Well, he was in a time loop originally, and then he stopped being in the time loop. I still don't get why he stopped being in the time loop.
Because as they tried to fix it, they instead sent Tree into an alternate dimension.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
it's just a bunch of just crazy sci-fi shit the whole time, which I thought was a lot of fun.
But how does it target a specific person? How does it know who's going to be in the time loop? I don't get it.
I don't know, fucking quantum leap or some shit.
I was just having fun.
That girl wasn't even near that machine at any point. It's just completely bizarre.
It doesn't matter.
Well, they explain it so it matters, and then
watch the fucking movie if you like what the movie does.
That's the insanity. It's just like, oh yeah, we used all this design stuff, but then why is it her? How does that make any sense? Oh my god. And it's not even her the entire time because it's the Asian guy first. I don't know. To me, that part's just annoying.
If we're gonna talk about things that pissed us off, I can take the reins on this one because the big emotional climax of the film is that they fix the machine. They can send Tree back to her reality, but she has to make the ultimate choice. Does she stay in the reality where her dead mom is alive? But she doesn't have any memories of their time together. But, I mean, she has another 40 years to make new memories with her dead mom. Or does she follow her heart and go back to the original dimension to be with the guy she fell in love with who she has only known for 11 days?
I mean, the obvious answer is get that dick.
Oh, wow. That's the obvious answer to you. Well, what are you talking about losing her memory? Is she going to lose her memory if she stays in this timeline? Is that what you're saying?
There's a bunch about how her mom had clearly, her and her mom had so many things that they did together in this dimension that she just doesn't remember because she did not experience them.
Right, so there's no problem with that.
Well, it's a problem with her.
So why the fuck doesn't she just stay in this reality and make the guy her boyfriend? How
exactly.
hard can that be?
That's That's exactly my point. Because they go out of their way to reveal that even in this dimension, the guy who is now dating one of her friends, the guy who she wants to be with, kind of has a thing for her anyway. And then it's revealed that the friend is cheating on the guy with some big hunky guy. So one conversation and she can stay in this dimension where her mom is alive and get the guy of her dreams. I have no idea why she chose to go back to the other dimension. Erich, what am I missing here?
Well, the whole thing...
Well, I think no. Shut the fuck up, Florian.
No,
I think they make it clear in the movie that this is a different, like, no matter what, she would be living a different life. Like, she'd be lying to herself to think that she can just insert herself into this situation and think that everything's going to be fine. Because
they make it clear.
No! Shut the fuck up, Florian! Shut the fuck up! Okay.
Fine.
No. I mean, basically, she is the sum of her whole experience. So her losing her mother at the age she did and all of the subsequent, like, not having the mother in her life is a huge part of her personality and who she is. To just, like, give that up in order to have your mother again wouldn't actually, like, solve anything in her life. She'd have her mother.
Counterpoint.
That is full consolation.
Counterpoint, Erich. At the end of the original Back to the Future, Marty is now living in a world where his family is rich and successful, and they all have memories growing up with him that he could not possibly have, because this is all brand new to him. And that's considered the happy ending. How come it's okay for Marty to be in a different dimension where he has his whole family doesn't know his family anymore, but in this movie that's such a big deal? Go fix it.
Well, you know what? I'll just have Doc explain that. Doc, can you explain this to him?
Florian, you're Doc, I think.
Oh, I'm Doc. Well, I'm here to explain that this is completely bullshit. They have this whole thing where it's like, oh, this is not my reality. This is wrong. This is going against. This is against the will of God, I guess, or some kind of crazy bullshit. But it's nonsense. She could easily just find out all the things that happened to her and learn them. And besides, she's a fucking high school kid. How much could have happened to her that even matters? and this stuff about what? Well, you could
probably so nothing that happens to her matters.
Florian, you have to understand, for Erich, high school was the best years of his life. He really valued that period.
Go back, and I'm desperately trying.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess things have changed, but she could just learn what changed. She'd have her mom. I mean, that would be more important, I assume.
Yeah, than some guy she's known for 11 days. I agree completely.
Yeah, and the guy is the same anyways. He falls in love with her again anyways.
You could just have the guy in this dimension. I don't know. That's the one gripe I have with the film, is that why not just stay in this dimension?
But what Erich said, oh my god, it's like her drama defines her personality. That is so fucking stupid. You think she's gonna stop being herself because the drama isn't there? That is so stupid.
Wow. No, it's not drama. It's loss. There's a difference.
No, it's the same thing.
Is this loss? That's the question.
Wow, is loss kino?
Is this loss?
Oh man. I guess.
All right, so I brought up why this movie's kino and my one gripe with it. Boys, I want to hear from both of you a good thing and a bad thing from the movie. Don't fuck this up. Erich, you go first.
I'd say that with the sequence where she is killing herself in random ways in order to, like, memorize the whatchamacallit, the formula that's needed to be done. I wasn't quite sure, like, why does she need to memorize this thing in order to get it to work? Like, you'd think they could just go through it endless number of times and they'd get it eventually, right?
Well, we established that she couldn't because she keeps getting weaker. But the thing is that it's completely stupid. Why didn't they just say, go through, you just make a list of all the algorithm and then she just says what part of the list they're on, because they're the same. They would make the same list every time. You just have to memorize a single number of what part of the list you're on. I can't believe that they actually made her learn the algorithm. That's so stupid.
I'll say real quick that any movie, and there's only 2 movies I can think of, any movie that has a montage of the main character committing suicide in increasingly funny ways, I'm a huge fan of. Unfortunately, it's just Groundhog Day and these Happy Death Day movies, but we need more movies where the main character has like a happy-go-lucky 3-minute montage committing suicide, because it always makes me smile.
I love how she jumps out of a plane in a bikini. And
that was so
like
good.
they just have the very quick scene of her hitting the ground super fast,
Right.
like when she was going in slow motion before. Oh, so good.
But what I don't get is why do they always cut away from her dying? Why don't we see the gore?
Because
Wouldn't that
it's
be cool?
PG-13
horror.
Oh, damn it. Why must the
Which
kids always ruin everything?
I feel like that's one of the boons of this movie is that like if they could really just like focus in on the gore and her violently slitting her own throat, that kind of shit, I think it would lose some of the fun.
Yeah.
In the movie.
Yeah, these movies are a lot of fucking fun, dude. I don't want to be grossed out.
Yeah, you don't want her in like a Saw situation where she's like a multi-paraplegic and like, would you like to play a game?
Yeah, I appreciate the lighthearted nature of these suicides. I don't want them to make them realistic.
Make suicide fun again.
I've been trying for 3 years. That's my whole purpose on Monkey Jones. All right, okay, that's one thing to bitch about, E-Rich. What's one thing do you want to point out that was great?
The fucking end credits scene.
There was a scene after the credits?
Yeah.
Okay, you're gonna have to tell us because I didn't stay for it.
Wait. I don't remember whether they were after every credit or whether it was mid credits.
Either way, I missed it, so you're gonna have to.
All right.
You said it teased another sequel?
Yeah, they set up a sequel where what is it? Some fucking government agency pulls the Asian kid and Trey aside, and they say, we need you to we need you to do more tests with your time machine thingy. And they're like, okay, well, who would we do it on? And then it flashes back to the first day, and it's the girlfriend of the dude. I don't know what her name is. The preppy.
The one who pretends that she's blind?
Yes. Oh. And she is going to live these days again.
Oh, no, I don't want to see it from her perspective. I don't like that character.
No, it won't be from her perspective. I think it'll be them running around in that situation with these government people also there.
Okay, I mean, I'm down for it. I really love both of these movies, so if they make more, I'll watch them. But yeah, like you said earlier,
I think it'll just be them torturing her the entire time.
It does seem like, but these movies are very low budget, mind you. But it seems like this might not make a lot of money
this time.
I mean, I'll watch it. I just hope this movie makes enough money for them to justify it.
I hope so, but yeah, let me look.
All right, Florian, hit us with a thing you loved and hated about the film.
Well, I like that the murderer always wears this happy mask. Even though he's murdering her horrifically, at least he's got a smile on his fake face.
Okay.
I think that's pretty cool. No, actually, I guess I really like that it's a different protagonist this time, but then I didn't like when it turned out to be the same protagonist again.
Why would you care? You haven't seen the first movie.
Well, no, but that just means that we have a protagonist change in the middle of the in the first like 20 minutes of the movie, and that really annoyed me. That's why
it is a little bit jarring, but I was fine.
I want to see the Asian guy die over and over again. Damn it.
Wait, do they ever reveal who was killing the Asian guy? I don't think they do.
Well, he tried to kill himself. It was a different.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
I forgot. Yeah, that's when the movie really started going crazy.
Yeah, it would have been really cool to just see clones of him trying to kill him all over the place.
All right,
I want.
Monkey. So in its first week, it made $26.1 million on a $9 million budget. It is definitely going to be a profitable enterprise because fucking Blumhouse knows how to do that shit. But I think the first movie did so much better.
Well,
so it's possible.
Hey, if Jason Blum makes even 1 penny profit, he will give the director 5 more films. So we have to hope.
Wow.
The first Blumhouse trilogy of films, folks.
Wow.
All right, now, Florian, try as hard as you can to think of one more thing that maybe you didn't like about the film. I know there's not a whole lot, but if you can just rack your mind.
Oh, man. Well, I definitely don't like the the dean who constantly tries to shut down this science experiment. What the fuck is up with him? I mean, clearly this is doing some actual science. I don't know why he's trying to shut it down. It could be huge. He could be benefiting greatly from this discovery, but nope. Guess he just wants to pull the plug.
Erich, can you defend this dean?
He's not really a dean. He's a parody. Like he is the dean that is trying to fuck things up for the main characters.
Yeah,
it's
I guess.
A fucking meme, bro.
Yeah, this movie sure has a lot of memes, doesn't it? All these other movies, and then this guy, oh Jesus, and the fucking blind acting meme. Oh god, that's the worst.
I thought it was a funny scene.
What,
all right,
which one?
Boys, do we have any final thoughts on Happy Death Day to You? Ultimately, when it's a movie that is generally pretty good and it's just like a good comedy, there's not a whole lot to mine in the kino fields here. But do you guys have any final thoughts? Would we recommend this film, Erich?
Yeah, I'd fucking recommend this movie to anybody who's seen a Back to the Future or Groundhog Day, any kind of time travel style movie, and they're fine with some occasional like slasher moments in it. This movie almost completely moves away from that slasher formula, and all for the better. I think that this movie is a very confident kind of, we're gonna do whatever the fuck we want, and it seems like the audience is here for it. They're not as here as they were last year for Happy Death Day to You. But it's a very successful movie, and I actually really like the main character here. I think she's just the right amount of, you could see that she was a preppy bitch before, but she's kind of like coming into her own. So I do like that about her. Her not give any fucks or take any shit from anyone is quite fun to watch.
Florian, would you recommend it?
I guess not. I'm just completely confused because this whole thing, and then every time there's someone trying to kill her, and it just doesn't make any sense, and they don't explain why they're always trying to kill her. It's just completely bizarre to me. To me, this movie didn't really achieve anything.
Oh,
and then she just tries to go back in time to fix things. But what is she even gonna? Oh, great! I guess there's gonna be another movie explaining. I guess we'll see. Guess I can't judge it now. We'll have to wait for the next one.
All right, folks. Forget those nobodies. Here's a real recommendation. The only real way to watch Back to the Future is to just watch all three of them in one sitting and pretend it's one big movie. That's how I do it. And I think the same can be said for Happy Death Day 1 and 2.
Wow.
It's so perfect to just watch them back to back as if it's one big movie, because I think maybe that's what they intended. They certainly pulled off that effect. So if you have 3 hours to kill one of these days, you will have a delightful time watching these movies. But obviously, unless you're Florian, don't watch Happy Death Day to You unless you've seen the first one, because you will be missing so much. And that's it.
Would it surprise me if I said that surprised you if I said that I've never seen Back to the Future for Part 3?
Oh my god.
I mean, it's not a must-watch, but
It's the end of a trilogy. It's the culmination.
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
It's gotta be the best one.
It's
the best one.
I like it, but Back to the Future 2 is my favorite because I love it. It has the greatest cliffhanger in film history, and I'm a big cliffhanger guy.
It's in the Old West.
Oh my god.
Fuck off.
You don't remember.
Back to the Future trilogy's perfect. Anyway.
Well, we need to go back to the kino. We need to force Erich to watch these. Come on.
Oh, God.
I mean, surely you've seen the first two films, right?
Yes.
How did you see the end of number 2 and you're like, oh, no, I don't care how Marty gets himself out of this mess?
I didn't hear good things about it, so I was just like, oh,
it's not good. It's definitely not a bad movie. It's just it's not as exciting as the first two to me. But it's still great. It's still fucking Back to the Future. You have to see how Marty gets out of the ultimate cliffhanger after Doc gets struck by lightning and sent back to 1885. Are you fucking kidding me? What the fuck is Marty gonna do? Oh, I can go run and find the Doc from the first movie, who this Doc at the end of Back to the Future Part 2 is really the Doc from the end of Back to the Future Part 1. He thinks he just sent Marty back to 1985. He's like, oh, job well done. Immediately, another Marty dressed in a leather coat runs around the corner and says, Doc, it's me. We did it. But but I'm back from the future, and Doc fucking faints. It's a to be continued. What the fuck? This is crazy. I love Back to the Future Part 2. It's perfect. It's perfect.
Is that the one where he gets very, very offended at being called a chicken?
Yeah, and that plot,
that's his weakness.
Well, yeah, that's something introduced in Back to the
pretty good.
Future Part 2, but it's resolved at the end of Back to the Future 3, and it's great. It's great. Marty grows as a character. And
does he say, yes, I am chicken? Is that what happened?
The whole drama of Marty McFly's life is that he wanted to be a rock star, but he threw it all away because he got into a street race because some guys in a big monster truck called him a chicken, and he didn't like that. So he gets into a street race with them, crashes the car, and injures his hand, so he can't be a rock star. And then he has like a really sad, pathetic, miserable life, and that's what we see in Back to the Future Part 2. But then after going on these adventures and going to the Old West and all that, Marty grows as a person, doesn't take things so personally. So then we see him in this same scenario, this streetcar race, and they call him a chicken. He's like, oh yeah, let's go, let's do it. And then instead of racing them, he backs up and leaves, and he says, fuck that. And then he lives, and then he has a perfect life. He learned his lesson over the course of the 3 films. It's beautiful.
Wow.
It's beautiful. You have to complete the trilogy, E-Rich.
All right.
Yeah,
Return of the King cannot be skipped.
I mean, I see that as the same way I see Godfather Part 3, like just not worth bothering.
But it's not a bad movie. It's how the story
That's
ends.
what people say about Godfather Part 3.
Did you see it?
Yeah, but
Did you see
Godfather Part 2
3?
didn't end, if I recall, with a to be continued, and you don't know how the story ends. Like, this is the Part 3 is the actual ending. It's not complete if you watch the first 2. Godfather Part 3, you literally could skip. You wouldn't miss anything.
I mean,
come on.
I think it's yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Well, it's basically like him falling asleep halfway through the movie anyway, so I guess he's used to it.
I like how I have to convince E-Rich that a movie he hasn't seen is good.
Well, he's seen the reviews, all right? He knows. He knows it's going to be
Oh, come on.
mediocre.
They're all like in the 90s on Rotten Tomatoes. Well, no, actually, I think Part 2 is like in the 60s. I think number 2 gets shit on the most. But I love it.
No.
Anyway, that's enough. Enough kinoing about Back to the Future. 4 is a kino. I have been Mumkey Jones. Florian and E-Rich, where can people find you guys online?
Check out Game Squid on YouTube, everyone.
You can find me on Twitter at ERICHKINO. Also, my YouTube channel is just the E-Rich channel. Me and Florian talk about movies all the fucking time on there. We're going to stream tomorrow night, right, fucking Florian?
Yeah, the same time as this stream.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, midnight.
I gotta wake up early again. It'll be great. I was gonna do a stream on Sunday where I Photoshop Will Smith into the shape of the genie from the cartoon. But
Somebody
then,
already did that.
well, too bad. I'm gonna do it anyways because you can watch me do the Photoshop. But I got sick and I couldn't do it, so I guess I'll do it eventually.
No.
So check that out on my
on
my channel eventually.
We all know you need to be at your fullest faculties and attention in order to
Photoshop
turn
Will Smith.
into Photoshop Genie.
Well,
all right,
it literally
everybody.
hurts to speak.
Everybody, we will see you next time with some Lolita Battle Angel Kino. And the Oscars are coming up soon. Who will win between the 3 of us? Who had the most Kino Oscar picks? We will find out. Is that this weekend or next weekend, E-Rich?
Next weekend, I think.
Okay, Oscars are coming up sometime. For
I saw Bohemian Rhapsody. It was shit.
We'll see you guys next time.
Okay.
Do you have something to fucking say?
I saw The Favorite and I thought it was
nobody.
the worst. Have you seen that one?
Shut up! Okay.
Oh no.
Bye. See you guys next time.